X100 Ultra, high-end camera from Vivo brand that has good smartphone functionalities. You're watching final review. I usually make first impressions, and next goes for in-depth comparison videos against other high-end devices and mirrorless cameras of other brands, and after that, I make final impressions videos that you are watching right now. What I liked? To tell the truth, I bought this phone just to see how new large telephoto lens will behave in different conditions. But it will be a good surprise for me that not only it will be a best camera phone on the market, but also a very great and comfortable device for everyday normal use. I liked it so much that it will stay with me for some time. I love clean design, round and curved edges, so it will never hurt a hand. It is larger than something like typical iPhone Pro, but still more comfortable handling experience because of all that sleekness. I love the camera bump. Some people find it large, but I can finally put a phone flat on the table without any weird sideways tilts, and I can put my finger under it to hold support help, or straight up, rudely grab it by its bump and hold it this way. I like it, and I like the design. Screen is very bright and colorful. I do not feel eye strains, and if I turn on flickering dimming in the developer tab, I can even use it comfortably in low brightness levels. Speakers are nice, not mind-blowing, but I will place it on the same level as all modern high-end devices. I will give it solid 3 stars out of 5. The same as Galaxy S24 Ultra, iPhone 15 Pro, Oppo X7 Ultra, Xiaomi 14 Ultra, you name it. 3 stars is the minimum where I can comfortably use a phone without headphones and not cringe and raise my eyebrows. I like that it has gun charger brick in the nice box. I love when companies do not treat their customers like shit and lie directly in their eyes and ears about being so-called environmentally green. And charging speeds are not mind-blowing, but solid 15 minutes average. Long gone the times when you charge a phone for 1.5 and 2 hours. Operating system. It uses Origin OS, and despite it being Chinese ROM, I was very surprised, and to this day I use it like any global device. I have almost zero problems with it. After release they have fixed lots of stuff. Now it has Android Auto, if you need one, some lock screen notification options, and overall, I love this OS. It has so many cool tricks and options. For example, I can enlarge icons and folders. I can make them 1 line, 3 rows. Now in Origin OS 5, Vivo tried to copy Honor with their magic capsule. It is called Origin Island, and I think that it has the best one-hand mode implementation. It is easy to access, easy to use, no BS, works from both sides. Just swipe, hold, release and go. So handy feature that will make me hard to switch to another device because of this feature alone. I use it all the time, so handy, I love it. Camera hardware. It is the first device in the world that utilizes new Samsung's HP9, a large 1 over 1.4 inch size telephoto sensor. It is so good and nice that can beat main sensor from such devices as iPhone or Samsung itself, that for some reason never uses its own technologies. Soon we will see S25 Ultra announcement, and I want to bet that you won't see any meaningful camera upgrade at all. The same old story with outdated 5-year-old page and trash results. I don't know why, but if you want to access the best Samsung technology, you need to use other brands from different countries. It has 1-inch sensor, and it is very nice and handy, because with smaller sensor size, the phenomenon that is called diffraction of light starts more early, making image to look very soft. Thus it needs a lot more clean and crisp glass with less aperture numbers that is really hard to manufacture due to size. Also, the bigger the sensor, the better will be possibilities for color gradients and color separation, as well as noise levels. Of course, if we are talking about the same technology in small and large ones. one of the best, if not the best, optical image stabilizations. Almost all my shots are sharp and clear. Very rare when I have movements in shot. Even on video, at 20x zoom levels. Look at these Elbrus mountain peaks, several hundred kilometers from my location, that I should not be able to see, by the way. And to operate all this powerful hardware, I can see one of the best, if not the best camera apps inside the smartphone. And not only smartphone, but mirrorless camera manufacturers must learn from it. I can see tons of options for manual and automatic pre-customized ones. I absolutely love to play with dedicated astrophotography modes, Astra portraits with built-in flash, and with light and shadow trails painting. It is so fun and easy, all that handheld. I can find street photography mode with very nice UI, and where I can control exposure compensation, white balance, and most importantly, shutter speed. It is essential for shooting moving subjects and to make interesting street shots. It has very nice automatic mode, but it is the only smartphone on the market right now that allows you not only to change color profiles, but also tweak brightness, contrast, saturation, and sharpness from 0 to -100 and +100. You can try and make your photos to look more the way you want. Other phones usually have this option inside Pro modes, where you lose all automatic computational goodies and lose HDR capabilities. And by the way, you can turn HDR on and off. In low dynamic range scenes, turning off HDR will give you a lot better contrast levels, a lot more natural skin tones. And if we look at the Pro mode closely, I can say that it is one of the best, if not the best Pro modes in the game. Not only for photos but videos as well. It has normal RAW shooting where you can pick and choose any color profile, not only one, like on some other phones, but it also has computational RAW photography, that is called Super RAW. Basically, it makes multiple shots with one press of a shutter and cleverly combines them together. You are getting a lot better highlights and shadow performance, with less noise levels and more level of details. And all this without any weird over-sharpness or funky over-saturation. This mode makes it suitable for RAW photography enthusiasts and makes cheap point-and-shoot and even some APS-C garbage, so-called entry-level cameras, obsolete for 95% of population. I want to remind you that even in 2012 I had computational RAW on very old small Canon cameras via hacked custom firmware made by a couple of enthusiasts. It brought interesting mode for multiple shots with one press of a shutter that gave those cameras second breath, and they started to punch way above their weight and price tags. To this day we see nothing from mirrorless camera market. For example, Canon still in 2025 use 10-year-old processors inside their multiple $1,000 cameras. On video we have Vivo log, that is very close to what I am calling computational log. If you know how to color grade in post, you can have very nice and clean image that puts to dust any modern global nonsense in the face of LOL's phones of the future from Samsung and fruity iPhones with their enormous, unnecessary, gigantic and large file sizes of ProRes 44444 and other useless hot potatoes. To help you control your exposure and image, it has zebras, waveforms, focus peaking. Also, you can monitor your audio levels and adjust them. It can help if you are using external microphones and radio systems. And by the way, you can control your exposure compensation in all video modes, even inside a slow motion. And I kinda loved slow motion, specifically 4K 120 fps mode. This phone has very detailed 8K video in 30 fps, but I can care less about 8K. Give me the slowest 4K possible, without any weird line skipping. And let's talk about the most impressive aspect of this phone, photography. I will describe it like this. It is the most versatile device where I can trust it in all situations. Name me any specific job, and it will do it. Results are predictable and reliable. And it is very important for me. The camera absolutely must be, and I absolutely want to understand what I will get as a result. I do not want to second guess. Will it be good or not? Will the phone goof around and play jokes on me with weird AI morphing and ugly computational mistakes? Will it have ugly red, yellow, brown and green skin colors and mushy noisy image like on iPhone? Will it fail under dim city lanterns, like phone of the future from Samsung? Will it give me double eyebrows or eye contours in the Suns and Sun portraits like on Xiaomi? Will it give me plastic skin with weird dots or completely drawn AI eyelashes and eyebrows, like even on Vivo's own X200 Pro? I'm just tired of thinking twice and guessing and praying. I want a consistent, predictable, controllable results, but which is still easy to use and still can be easily understood even by old-school grannies. Like me. I have 3 dedicated videos about OriginOS and Camera app, where you can learn lots of stuff about modes, as well as tips and tricks. I loved portraits on this device. Maybe it has little bit too strong HDR, about which we will talk in the next sections of this video, but colors are very good, level of details is great. I can crop image without losing quality to print it in the album or hang it on the wall, or even use it in social media for avatar or send to someone. Color separation is on another level on this phone. Difference between, for example, blue skies, green grass, orange and red leaves on the ground is so obvious and visible. I love it. Samsung used term nightography in their deceiving marketing materials, and where phone of the future completely fails, Vivo X100 Ultra brings it to a whole new levels, where I can easily say, this is how nightography should look like. And talking about night mode, I think Vivo has the best night mode in the game. Even in almost pitch dark conditions, handheld, it will give you some usable shots, with color information inside it, which is crazy. Some people can dislike how bright it is at night, but do not use night mode for that. Night mode was invented to give you results similar to multi-frame stacking on a tripod with conventional camera, to bring life to a very dark land and cityscapes. Use different modes and bring exposure down. You are just using wrong mode for that. It is like using portraits mode with fake bokeh blur and saying that you dislike bokeh blur in the background. And speaking about portrait mode, it is just the best portrait mode that I have seen. You can use bokeh blur from iconic Zeiss lenses, control the amount of it, if you like this kind of stuff. But most importantly for me, I can turn this fake bokeh off completely. Portrait mode has optional beautifier and face retouching and reconstruction. And I want to say that it is not a gimmick, but very powerful tool. I was so impressed by results that wanted to find a limit of this mode. Where will it fail? And you know what? It never did. It led to the creation of this video that is called One True King, mostly dedicated to a portrait mode stress test in various conditions. Maybe 1 out of 100 photos will have slight hints to something not right in some small parts of the shot, but I absolutely love this mode. And not only it can give you face retouching, but become very useful in heavily backlit situations. Where other smartphones completely fail and give artifacts, Vivo helps to preserve usable image. I'm talking about sunrise-sunset HDR photos, where light source directly hits the lens. Even without this mode, I was very impressed by Vivo's ability to hold contrast levels and color separation. But portrait mode helped with preserving facial characteristics. Especially if we combine this with built-in flashlight, it can give jaw-dropping results. Do not forget, we are using freaking smartphone, walkie-talkie, but not a $5,000 full-frame camera. Telephoto lens. I was just... whoa, no words, only emotions. Considering again, it is just a smartphone. I can use digital zooms, without very weird AI morphings. Images have real details that are not fake AI drawn, but we can actually see those textures, lines, dots or else in real life. I can easily use 10 to 20x for portraits if needed, and results will be very acceptable. It uses AI models very gently, trying to preserve realistic image as much as possible. Again, considering that it is just a smartphone. I hope to see this level of performance further. For some reason, X200 Pro gave completely opposite results, with very weird AI morphed lines, details and textures, despite having the same sensor. And not only it can look very far away for zooms, it can capture one of the best, if not the best, macro photos. Images are full of details, but most important for me, it has very great colors that has very good saturation levels, accuracy and micro contrast levels. Details are very important, but it is not the most important factor. First goes contrast, next goes colors, next goes overall mood, and only then details. And if we combine all this, I can say that it is my favorite device for macro photography and photography as a whole. And let's transition to the section where I will tell you what I dislike. And to tell the truth, there is so little that I dislike that almost all of it will be just a nitpicks, small stuff that is almost not worth mentioning or won't fit what I disliked criteria, especially in photography. But I will try my best to find some and demolish it if I find any really big ones. No company deserves special attitudes and indulgence, because business is business after all, and Vivo is one of the more expensive devices over there. Let's start not from photography, and most obvious and big ones. Modern freaking insane and tiring, stupid nonsense. 3.5mm audio jack. Where is it? Maybe at least you gave us second Thunderbolt port for removing audio jack. No? Nothing? No micro SD or any new medium expansion slots. Is battery easily replaceable? No? Why? EU will have a replaceable battery regulation soon. Why wait and test our patience? Operating system. Despite being one of my two favorite operating systems, it is still a Chinese ROM, and you can face some limitations here and there. For example, I bought a TicWatch Pro 5, and to my surprise, I could not use it. It is the freaking mob voice fault, not Vivo's. It is software, artificial limitations and gatekeeping. Not all Wear OS smartwatches are compatible. But not everything is gloom and doom. I was able to connect my Galaxy Watch 4 Classic on Wear OS, and everything works flawlessly, so no problems here. But I still dislike the fact that there are some limitations. New Origin Island, the Honor's Magic Capsule ripoff. It has super drag option, where you can send your images, text and other stuff as a universal clipboard to other applications. But there are just no messengers, like WhatsApp, Telegram, Viber over there, making this feature completely useless and wasted opportunity. Why it is even an option, if I cannot do the only thing that it is meant to be? I dislike it right now. It has circle-to-search analogy, but unfortunately no multi-language support, only Chinese. And it uses its artificial intelligence, that is called BlueLM AI, with Joey Assistant. But again, it is only Chinese, no multi-language, and I do not have an ability to test its possibilities and features. I cannot tell, can it understand context, or does it remember our previous conversations? So, for me, as a not Chinese language speaker, it is a non-existent feature that I dislike. Selfie camera. It is not the worst selfie out there, and can even give respectable results. You can control your image color profiles parameters like sharpness on all lenses, but for some reason, you suddenly cannot do it on selfie camera. Image looks too over-sharpened, and in some situations, even artificial. I found a solution. For selfie shots, I just use Google Camera mode. That makes it several times better, but still it is suboptimal and can easily be fixed by Vivo, but for some reason completely forgotten. Do something about it. I dislike it. Last one, not for me, but can be a major factor for small humans with little hands. Vivo X100 Ultra is on a heavy side, and small pocketable gimbals won't be able to balance it. For me, it is not a problem. Weight is manageable. Of course, I would love to use it on a small gimbal stabilizers instead of more large and heavy ones, but I fully understand that all these powers requires more heavy, sturdier body. Just like our very weak human flesh
that cannot handle our true sleeping souls inside our virtual planetary game.
What can be improved? What I want to see in the future from Vivo smartphones? Of course, modern, absolutely unspeakable insanity that belongs to the mental institutions because of how bad it is. Absence of 3.5mm audio jack with good amplifiers, so I can use any microphones and radio systems for daily use, online messenger meetings, YouTube videos and whatnot. Also, I can connect it to my external high-end audio systems with good speakers, to my car for good and easy audio listening experience, without constantly draining battery life by wireless, unstable and bad connections. For those who enjoy long dongles in their plugs, keep it for yourself. Do not suggest it to another beings. Being able to directly and easily connect your high-end, very expensive phone to another devices is a premium user experience, and whole plug-in dongles is an inferior, peasant nonsense. And of course, almost forgot, I can use great studio headphones that sounds miles better than any Bluetooth, even very expensive buds, with LDAC and other codecs. And again, not to stress out about losing them when they again and again fall out of my ear and from a balcony of high-floor building, which happened to me more times than I like to. I do not want to find myself crouching under the car with my ass raised to the sky, trying to reach out to a headphone that fell to the center of the parked car. And of course, not to drain battery life from my devices. Give me a second Thunderbolt port for connectivity. Become a first company to implement this inside our little cosmic slum and prison planet. And I want to see something similar to a DeX mode from Samsung, but actually better and more usable, where you drag and drop files between different windows. And for those who will say 3.5mm audio jack and replaceable battery will make IP68 and IP69 waterproof not possible to make, first of all, it is not waterproof. Nothing is waterproofed. No one will fix liquid damage in your device by warranty. It is water resistant, but not waterproofed. And second, 3.5mm audio jack compromising anything is the most stupid and insane quotes from marketing campaign victims that I have ever heard. 3.5mm audio combo port is a universal connector that to this day is used and will be used in the future in consumer-level high-end devices. It is not going anywhere. It is so a lot more sturdy and robust than any USB Type-C will ever be. Everything companies say about this port is far from being true, not even funny. If anything, USB Type-C is a lot more flimsy, more prone to be broken, and this almost all the time is the reason of liquid damage, even on devices that have 3.5mm audio jacks. If you are an engineer and want to tell me that there is no way to make audio jack and detachable backplate water resistant, just try better. No excuses for laziness. And any dongle hole
Plug lovers' comments will be rudely, despotly and tyrannically deleted on place.
Easily replaceable battery, like it is not even a discussion. Phone is not a consumable that you will throw away as a e-waste after a couple of years for a new toy. For those who want to argue, good luck trying to replace a battery on a modern device after 4-6 years. And I already know some answers. Just sell a device second-hand for another person and buy a new one. How disrespectful and completely unhuman animal behavior in relation to a person that will buy your worn-out device many years later. EU already have law regulations for this. It will already be happening. We will see replaceable batteries soon. So why prolong our torture of this company's stupidity? Micro SD or any new medium expansion slots. Battery life. It is not so bad like everyone is telling it to be. Some people made the comments that X200 Pro is multiple times better and X100 Ultra is very bad in this regard. It is nothing like that. I never charge a phone above 80-90% and never discharge it lower than 20-15%. And I charge only one time in the evening. After more than half a year, I have only 1% battery health degradation. But saying all that, I can agree that it could be better, maybe 1-2 hours more before I need to charge. And charging speeds could be improved. It is already not bad. But for example, Oppo, average charging time, depending on temperature, is 30 minutes. Sometimes can be even lower than that, 26-27 minutes. I want at least such level of performance. Speakers are nice, but it could be better. I was very impressed by Huawei and was blown away by Honor's Magic 6 Ultimate class-leading audio performance, where during my tests I forgot to press stop button and continued to listen to a music. So good it was. And I want to see similar level of performance on next Ultra models from Vivo. 3 out of 5 stars is bare minimum that I can accept, and it is not something to be proud of. I want a lot better assistant with multi-language support and a lot more in-depth features that has true AI algorithms. It must remember our previous conversations in the encrypted code and operate based on full understanding of context. Very important. It should understand context to some extent, can understand voice and text crystal clear, and is fully local on my device. Very important. Fully local on my device. That uses local machine learning models. You are putting Google Assistant and Gemini AI inside your global FunTouch OS devices, and I can care less about Google with their online data gathering spine machine that spits basic censored and curated answers from the internet that fully complies with shady government organizations and their ugly agendas. I want to see how it will be done in Vivo style, with Vivo Vision and Blue LM Copilot, Jovi Assistant and whatnot. Maybe not so drastic and important, just slight wish. 13 or 12mm ultra-wide instead of 14. There were a couple of real estate situations where 1 or 2mm difference would play its role and gave more comfort to life. I can easily zoom in if needed, but there is just no way to go wider if you are pressed against a wall or there is a busy highway behind you, for example. And something that I completely do not care about, but have to talk about it, so people can know about that kind of stuff, and not think that I sold out for Vivo, like some commenters say. You heard it, Vivo? Where is my money? I'm still waiting for bags of dollars. In some very rare occasions, I can see overexposure on very harsh areas. That's it, nothing special. But you need to slightly bring exposure down, or use different color profile or mode. For example, at night you can use dedicated stage mode to help with preserving highlights on this specific 1 out of 20 photos. Vivo somewhat fixed it in X200 Pro, but I want to see different methods, because images started to look more fake and lost 3D depths in such harsh HDR situations. Maybe try better next time. But to tell the truth, I cannot care less right now. Maybe slightly toned down facial HDR. Do not get me wrong. It is not even remotely close to the abominations like on iPhone from 13 to 16 Pro Max, with ugly, weird red, brown, green, yellow colors and ugly dots and patches on skin. But sometimes Vivo can give overemphasized 10. If you switch to vivid color profile or turn off HDR, it will instantly be better. And I do not care like at all. It does not bother me even slightly, but it is a nitpick in photography that you as a company can look into. Humanistic street photography. It is so great mode that I liked, but it can be better. It has very cool features, but for some reason, in complicated shots, it gives somewhat plasticky drawn by AI image. That reminds me of Vivo X200 Pro. If you compare street photography to normal mode, it is noticeably more smoothed out and looks artificial. To tell the truth, I like and dislike this mode equally, but despite that, I do not understand why this mode exists in the first place. And it leads me to my next wish. I want you to completely rethink some modes inside your very great camera app. I want a combination of Google Pixel app with your own and with humanistic street photography mode, but on ultimate ultra steroids. I want auto modes to be combined with pro manual ones, both on photos and videos, make more overlaps between each other. Why I have to go into street photography mode to tweak shutter speed, or go into the auto photo tab to get rid or gain HDR, or inside pro mode just to access a super raw? Like, do not get me wrong here please, I do not want less buttons. On the contrary, I want more buttons on the screen that are visible all the time, to get access to different modes and features, but inside more streamlined UI. And please, do not get rid of modes and features like I saw on X200 Pro, with brand new landscape tab, where we lost astrophotography mode. And now we have to fully rely on automatic scene detection and pray that phone understands what I'm doing and what I want. For example, tripod button appears only if phone automatically by itself detects that it is not moving. And you can accidentally confuse phone just by pressing a screen, and it will opt out of the tripod mode and will give you couple of seconds exposure instead of couple of minutes. Also, it can happen if your tripod is flimsy and moving in the wind. So, I hope you understand my general idea. More streamlined camera app with tons of features and parameters to tweak, and more virtual buttons to manually customize the outcome with predictable results. Vivo X100 Ultra already has one of the best computational RAW implementations, but I wish it was slightly less aggressive with noise reduction inside shadows. Just leave some noise over there, at least luma noise, that will feel as a film grain. No reason to completely remove it. I can decide in post what I want to do with it. Video quality is very nice. I like to use this phone, but sometimes it can give too strong HDR and weird colors on face. I have to tweak exposure compensation down to remove this effect, or use lock video to mitigate it. I loved Vivo Lock inside X100 Ultra, and I want it only to be improved. For some reason it is not available in the ultrawide and telephoto, and it is purely software, artificial limitations and gatekeeping, so it can be introduced in the X200 Pro and X200 Ultra. Even my old Mi 9 and cheap Mi 9 Lite, heck, even Redmi Note 8 Pro could record 10-bit lock videos on all lenses. It is purely software, nothing has to do with hardware. Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is more than capable enough to record stabilized 14-bit RAW videos, not to tell about a lot more lightweight 10-bit log ones. Speaking about log, third-party app support is questionable. I wish you can fix it and open the doors for app developers and modders. Camera API has one major downside. It has 10-bit log recording, where I can use shadow and light information gathering methods from major cinema camera brands like Arri, Red, Canon, Sony, Lumix from Panasonic. 32-bit float audio is working, even optical image stabilization is working, but no digital stabilization, which is huge deal breaker for walking and vlogging scenarios. Do not get me wrong, I use Vivo as a secondary or sometimes main camera on this channel, but only on tripod and very accurately for B-roll handheld. If I want to use it while walking outside, it is just not suitable for a job. Of course, you can use a stabilized gimbal, but you need more heavy-duty one because of the size, and it won't make your life easy, only complicate stuff. In such situations, better decision will be to take something like Pocket 3, 2 or even 1 with you. And I want to see all this performance to be built in. 10-bit computational log video recording. You already have very advanced exposure controls. As an addition, I only want to see false color. And ability to load in LUTs to preview your image, or even burn in LUTs. It means that settings and tweaks that you made with LUT files are being applied on the final video. And you do not have to color grade anything on the computer. It is ready out of the box. Camera API needs to be an open bridge and gateway for developers. So we can see lots of settings in the programs like Google Cam, MC Pro 24 FPS and Motion Cam. I wish digital stabilization was working, and we can get access to better photos and videos from modders and apps developers. This phone is already have very nice slow motion options. 4K 120 FPS is nice, 1080p to 40 frames per second. Looks not bad also. But I wish for more slow motion options. 4K to 40 FPS, 1080p in 2000 frames per second, with better image quality. If you have to, make it in small bursts, even with crop applied. Slow motion is so cool and give you absolutely astonishing angles of view that other video recording options simply just can never give you, even remotely close. Like, not even a discussion how cool it is. And for some reason, I do not see good slow motion implementation on modern devices, despite it being the thing in the past. And I want to see pre-capture buffer, both on photos and videos. It means that your phone buffers the image, and when you press recording button, previous 2 or 3 seconds were recorded. It is like time machine option. I want better subject recognition and tracking for autofocus. Every modern mirrorless camera can recognize eyes, faces, people, poses, animals, insects, vehicles. And Vivo X100 Ultra already has this, but I want better marks on the screen, visible all the time, to understand that it works. Snapshot mode. It has weird quirk on some edges of very fast-moving subjects. It looks like interpolation lines, not a huge deal breaker, but it is the weak point of all modern smartphone, Achilles heel. That makes it so different even to a modern garbage APS-C cameras. The differentiator is burst mode for sports, wildlife and fast-moving subjects. It is the only reason why modern mirrorless cameras are still a lot better than smartphones. I want to see burst photo mode not only for JPEG, but a RAW photography also. Do not make 30 or 100 ugly bad-looking photos. I want 3 to 7 FPS, but with full computational and normal RAW shooting, with full image quality. You can implement variable aperture on all lenses, and to make fast shooting modes more possible, implement some sort of a shutter, like on Hasselblad lenses. Hasselblad lenses have leaf shutter built into them. It can be more reliable and solve high-speed shooting problems on smartphones, where it is hard or almost impossible to fit a conventional mechanical shutter inside a small phone body. And finally, my personal wish. I want to install any operating system of my choice to the phone, with all APIs free and open for my hardware that I own, but not a company that made it. This is my device, not yours. I bought it, not rented it. This is unlikely in this mad era, but it will 100% be implemented in the future, and is already implemented in other worlds, outside of our prison Earth. I just wish it came true early. So, that's pretty much it. I really was impressed by Vivo and loved this smartphone so much that I'm using it right now as my daily device. I think that their vision of a phone is to be innovative inside stylish form factor that focuses very in-depth on the photography and videography aspects of modern smartphone devices that led it to be the obvious choice for me, not only in terms of walkie-talkie phone, but compact mirrorless camera for everyday life and family album, fun walking around, traveling and vacation. It can fight among modern expensive mirrorless APS-C cameras with large expensive lenses and even completely with cold AI machine blood without any forgiveness, demolish them in complicated handheld scenarios and ease of use. And if they implement everything I stated above in the future, it will be even more hard to beat it than it is right now. I want to remind you that you are watching final review of the Vivo X100 Ultra. If you want to know more about this device, you can find so many videos about it. It is the most reviewed phone on my channel. Initial first impressions video is called Best Camera Phone, Zeiss Secrets, Vivo X100 Ultra. And large phone comparison battles with in-depth audio speakers quality examples, photo examples against high-end phones, and $1,300 conventional Sony camera with bright general zoom lens. And of course, video quality battle with DJI Osmo Pocket 3 examples. First of all, portrait mode and face retouching battle that is called Only One King Can Rule. Vivo X100 Ultra versus Oppo Find X7 Ultra. Next, intensive battle, game of phones. Vivo versus Xiaomi versus Oppo. The final battle, where only half of the phones can survive in the end. Infinity phones. Vivo versus Sony versus Xiaomi versus Oppo versus Samsung versus Pixel. And the full multi-series galactic saga that consists of 3 long series. Vivo comes to scene from a second episode. Those videos are called Star Phones, Episode 2, Android Strikes Back, Vivo versus Google versus Honor versus Oppo versus Huawei. And finale of extensive saga with surprising results, Star Phones Episode 3, A Last Hope, Vivo Ultros versus Honor versus Huawei versus Vivo Z Junior. Also, I have tried it versus Ultra Premium Super Duper Umbra Penumbra Flagship Phone, Vivo X200 Pro. Those videos are called Best Midrange? Vivo X200 Pro. Next, Upgrade? New Pro versus Old Ultra. And downgraded sensor size comparison with tons of tips and tricks about photography in general. This video is called Does Size Matter? 1 inch. And if you are interested to learn how your device works, see what Origin OS operating system can give you, learn your camera app, I suggest to watch these videos. First one is a street photography video with tons of tips and tricks, educational and inspirational moments, how to capture images with just a phone on a street. This video is called Street Photography is Fun, Vivo X100 Ultra Photography. Next, full in-depth Origin OS camera app full guide through and tour that is called Vivo OS Guide, OS and camera app. And full side-by-side comparison of Origin OS 4 versus Origin OS 5 with lots of advices about OS and camera application. It is called Origin OS 5 versus OS 4, Vivo X200 Pro, Vivo X100 Ultra. Hope you enjoyed. See you in another videos. Have a very intergalactic day.